morning, students. Welcome to the Bio Everywhere that makes the biological concepts easier. So, today's session we will discuss about the cell, the basic unit of life. जैसा कि आप सभी जानते हैं, सेल ही हमारा क्या है, स्ट्रक्चरल और फंक्शनल यूनिट है लाइफ की. So, why this cell is known as the structural and the functional unit of life? The reason is we are made from a single cell. We arise from a single cell. These single cells divides in many number, and that cells form a group, and that group of the cells is known as tissue. And then these tissues combine together and they form organ. Now this organ combine together to form organ system. And when these organ systems such as digestive system, respiratory system, reproductive system, excretory system, etc., these combines together, they will form a complete organism. So we are made from a single cell, arises from a single cell. That's why it is called structural unit of the life. Second one, it is called the functional unit of life, because in our body all the cells are performed by an individual cell or by a group of cells. Hence, it is called structural and functional unit of life. This cell is discovered by scientist Robert Hooke in the year 1665, and the cell theory is given by Sladen and Swan. Now, Rudolf Virchow rediscovered this cell theory, and it states that new cell arises from the pre-existing cell. जो भी नए सेल्स हमें अभी देखने को मिले हैं, वो सारे के सारे जितने भी हमारे डेड सेल्स हैं उन्हीं से मिलके बनते हैं. So new cells arise from pre-existing cells. Now in this session we will discuss about cell component, cell organelles, cell division, and at the last of the session I will provide you some practice question and you have to answer in the comment box. Now let's study the topic one by one. So we will start with cell component. Now the structure of cell comprises of cell components. This is the shape for the cell, which is spherically, and the outermost layer is known as cell wall. Inside this cell wall there is another membrane present, which is known as cell membrane. And in the centermost area there is presence of nucleus. Outside the nucleus there is a membrane present, which is called nuclear membrane. Nuclear membrane. And this area between this nuclear membrane and the cell membrane, this area is known as cytoplasm. And in this cytoplasm there is a fluid present which contains the various cell organelles. Cell organelles. So these are the components of cell: cell wall, cell membrane, nucleus, nuclear membrane, cytoplasm and cell organelles. अब हम इन सारे कंपोनेंट्स के बारे में, इनके फंक्शंस के बारे में वन बाय वन पढ़ेंगे. सबसे पहले हम स्टार्टिंग करते हैं सेल वॉल से. Cell wall is present at the outer side, and this cell wall is present only in the plant cells and it is absent in the animal cell. And this cell wall is made up of cellulose in plant cells. And the main function of this cell wall is to transport the contents inside or outside the cell. Now the next component is cell membrane, which is also known as plasma membrane. PM stands for plasma membrane, and this cell membrane is of SPM nature. SPM stands for the semi-permeable nature, means it allows only the selected components to enter inside and outside the cell. So it is selectively permeable in nature. And this cell membrane consists of proteins and lipids. Proteins and lipids. So this cell membrane is also involved in the transport of contents inside and outside the cell. Now the next component is nucleus, which is present in the center. This nucleus is the main coordinating center and it is called director of the cell. It is called director because it controls all the functions of the cell. Nuclear membrane helps to permit the contents to enter and outside from the nucleus to the cytoplasm. This cytoplasm is the fluid-filled space inside the cell. And the last component is cell organelles. These cell organelles are specialized structures which help to perform the specific functions in the cell. This is about cell organelles. Now, next we will discuss about cell organelles one by one. Cell organelles. Cell organelles are basic specialized structures which are able to perform different functions inside the cell. These cell organelles are classified into the three types on the basis of membrane bound. One is membraneless, in which there is no presence of the membrane outside the organelle. Second is single membrane bound. And the third one is double membrane bound. So this is about the classification of cell organelles. One is single membrane bound, second one is double membrane bound, and third one is membraneless. The ribosome cell organelle is membraneless in nature. Ribosome. While the single membrane bound organelle consists of ER, endoplasmic reticulum, GA, Golgi apparatus, and third one is lysosome. And the double membrane bound consists of mitochondria and plastid. Now let's talk about these cell organelles and their functions one by one. So we start with the cell organelle ribosome. This ribosome is membraneless organelle in which there is no membrane present outside, and this ribosome is discovered by the scientist George Pallet. Now the ribosome is known as protein factory of the cell. Because this ribosome is primarily involved in the synthesis of proteins, hence it is known as protein factory of the cell. These ribosomes have two subunits, one is 70S and the other is 80S. These are two subunits of ribosome, and this S stands for the sedimentation coefficient. This is about ribosome, which is helpful in the synthesis of proteins. Now the next cell organelle is endoplasmic reticulum, ER. ER stands for endoplasmic reticulum. जैसा कि हमने अभी पढ़ा था कि सेल ऑर्गेनेल्स को तीन टाइप से डिवाइड किया गया था. ER जो सेल ऑर्गेनेल है ये हमारी सिंगल मेम्ब्रेन बाउंड होती है. सो ER इज सिंगल मेम्ब्रेन बाउंड. First point. Now this ER is further divided into the two types on the basis of presence or absence of ribosome. One is RER and the second one is SER. This classification is based on absence or presence of ribosome. So RER stands for the rough endoplasmic reticulum, while this SER stands for the smooth endoplasmic reticulum. This RER is rough in appearance because of the presence of ribosome. Hence, in RER, the ribosomes are present. Ribosomes are present, while in SCR, the ribosomes are absent. So, it is smooth in appearance and it is rough in appearance. Now, the function of RER is, because of the presence of ribosome, it is involved in the synthesis of proteins. And in SCR, it is involved in the synthesis of steroids and lipids. Now the secretion of these organelles, lipid and protein, they combine together and they will form the cell membrane. So cell membrane consists of proteins and lipids, and this process of cell membrane formation is known as biogenesis. So this biogenesis is carried by the cell organelle endoplasmic reticulum. This is about ER, endoplasmic reticulum. So now let's discuss about the next cell organelle which is associated with this endoplasmic reticulum is Golgi apparatus. Golgi apparatus. This Golgi apparatus is also single membrane bound in nature, and this Golgi apparatus is discovered by the scientist Camillo Golgi. Now, this Golgi apparatus is in close association with endoplasmic reticulum. अब यहाँ पे हम देखेंगे कि जो गोल्जी अपरेटस है और एंडोप्लाज्मिक रेटिकुलम है वो किस तरीके से एक दूसरे के साथ में रिलेटेड होता है. जैसा कि अब आप जान चुके हैं, एंडोप्लाज्मिक रेटिकुलम से हमें प्रोटीन्स, स्टीरॉइड्स और लिपिड्स मिलते हैं, एंड दीज प्रोटीन्स, स्टीरॉइड्स एंड लिपिड्स in the form of vesicles, they combine at the surface of Golgi apparatus. They attach at surface of Golgi apparatus. Surface of Golgi apparatus, and these Golgi apparatus are sac-like structures, and at the surface of Golgi apparatus, these components in the form of vesicles attach here, and in turn this Golgi apparatus helps to package them and modify them. Package them and modify them. So the function of Golgi apparatus is to packaging and modification of the compounds. Now the second function of Golgi apparatus is it helps in the formation of lysosome. It helps in formation of lysosome cell organelle. So, let's discuss about the next cell organelle which is known as lysosome. First point is this lysosome is also single membrane bound. Single membrane bound. Now, main important point is this lysosome is known as suicidal bag of the cell. Suicidal bags of the cell. क्या आप जानते हैं why this lysosome is known as suicidal bags of the cell? Answer is simple, because in the lysosome there is presence of hydrolytic enzymes. Hydrolytic enzymes. Lytic word stands for the breakdown. So these hydrolytic enzymes which are present in lysosome, they are responsible for the destruction or killing of the cell harmful particles which enter into the cell. So they kill the harmful particles and hence it is known as suicidal bag of the cell. And when these lysosome burst, they kill the cells and hence it is also known as suicidal bag. These hydrolytic enzymes are lipase, protease and carbohydrates. This ase suffix stands for the family of enzymes and this ase means digesting enzymes. So the name lipase means lipid digesting enzyme, protease means protein digesting enzyme and this carbohydrates means carbohydrate digesting enzyme. So this is about lysosome. The main point is it is called suicidal bag of the cell because of the presence of these enzymes which are helpful to kill the harmful or waste material which present inside the cell. So they help in cleaning of the cell. Cleaning of the cell. This is about lysosome. Now let's discuss about the next cell organelle. माइटोकॉन्ड्रिया. अभी तक हमने जो भी सेल ऑर्गेनेल्स की हैं दे आर सिंगल मेम्ब्रेन बाउंड. नाउ लेट्स टॉक अबाउट द डबल मेम्ब्रेन बाउंड ऑर्गेनेल्स. फर्स्ट वन इज माइटोकॉन्ड्रिया. इट इज डबल मेम्ब्रेन बाउंड. Double membrane bound means there is presence of an outer layer and inner layer in this organelle. Now this mitochondria have itself DNA as well as ribosome. This DNA stands for deoxyribonucleic acid. Deoxyribonucleic acid. And this DNA is the genetic material which carry genes from parents to their offsprings, means which carry the characters from one generation to the next generation. And these ribosome, you have discussed earlier that they are primarily involved in the synthesis of proteins. So here these ribosomes help in the synthesis of proteins. Now the next point is this mitochondria is known as powerhouse of the cell. Now do you know why this mitochondria is known as powerhouse of the cell? Answer is because in this mitochondria there is synthesis of energy and that energy is provided in the form of ATP. ATP stands for adenosine triphosphate. Adenosine triphosphate, and this ATP is energy currency of the cell. Energy currency of the cell. So energy currency means it provides energy to the different cell organelles so that they can perform their different functions. So here the synthesis of energy takes place and hence it is known as powerhouse of the cell. So this is about mitochondria. The main point is it is called powerhouse of the cell which generates the energy in the form of ATP, and this ATP is called energy currency of the cell. Now let's talk about the next cell organelle which is plastid. The main points which are common in plastid as in mitochondria are plastid is also double membrane bound and plastid have also itself DNA as well as ribosome. Now this plastid is further divided into the two types. One is colored plastid and the next one is colorless plastid. Now these colored plastids, they are also known as chromoplast. This chrome word stands for color. Hence, the name suggests that these chromoplasts are involved in providing the color to the plant. Now the next is colorless plastid and these are known as leucoplast. And these leucoplasts are helpful in the storage of food. Storage of food means they store the resins, oils and gums which are synthesized by the protein. So they are involved in storage, while these colored plastids are helpful to provide the color. So the colored plastid also have a pigment that is called chlorophyll, and this chlorophyll is responsible for the green color of the leaves in plant. This is the green pigment which is present in the leaves. This is about plastid. So हमने सारी सेल ऑर्गेनेल्स पढ़ लिए हैं. They are ribosome, endoplasmic reticulum, Golgi apparatus, lysosome, mitochondria and plastid. And this plastid is also known as kitchen of the cell. This is known as kitchen of the cell. Why this is known as kitchen of the cell? Because in the chromoplast there is also a component organelle that is called chloroplast, and this chloroplast is responsible for the process of photosynthesis, means the process of food formation by the plants, that is photosynthesis, that occurs in chloroplast. And photosynthesis means, photo means light, synthesis means formation. It means there is formation of glucose in the presence of sunlight. This is called photosynthesis. So this photosynthesis means plants make their food by on with the help of CO2 and H2O in the presence of chlorophyll, which is a green pigment present in the leaves, and in the presence of sunlight they form C6H12O6, which is the chemical formula for glucose, and they also provide oxygen and energy. So there is a formation of food, and this food formation is in presence of sunlight and it is formed from CO2 and H2O. This process is known as photosynthesis, and this photosynthesis is carried in chloroplast. So this is about cell organelles. Now the next topic is cell division. Cell division. Cell division means divide the cell. One cell get divided into the further two cells. Now these two cells also get further divided into more cells. This is simply known as cell division. So cell division means to increase the number of cells. To increase the number of cells. Now this cell division is of two types. One is mitosis, second one is meiosis. This mitosis is also known as equational division. Equational division. While this meiosis is known as reductional division. Reductional division. Do you know why this meiosis and mitosis is known as reductional and equational division? Because in the mitosis, or also known as equational division, the number of chromosomes remains same. Number of chromosomes remains same. And in the meiosis, which is known as reductional division, here the number of chromosomes becomes half. Number of chromosomes become half. Do you know what are these chromosomes? Chromosomes are specialized structures that are formed by the condensation of chromatin material, and these are responsible for transfer of genes from one generation to the next generation. So these chromosome number remain same in mitosis and it get reduced to half in meiosis cell division. This is about cell division. At the last, we will discuss some practice questions and you have to comment the answer in comment box. So, first question is, name the cell organelle. Name the cell organelle which is known as powerhouse of the cell. Powerhouse of the cell. Next question is, name the cell organelle which is known as kitchen of the cell. Third, cell organelle known as suicidal bags. Fourth, full form of ATP. Full form of ATP. Fifth, energy currency of the cell. Sixth, name the division. Name the division which is known as equational division. Equational division. And the last question is, name the division which is known as reductional division. And why this is known as reductional division. So you have to answer these questions in the comment box. This is about today's session. Thank you very much.